Hello and welcome to another episode of E30 Restorations. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Will, and today I've got my pen and I've got my pick. We're going to go around on my E30 and give it a true rust inspection, see what really needs doing, what actually needs to be removed and welded. I think it's going to be a long list. First thing I do want to do is actually get the front hubs off and the front wheels so we've got a bit more space and we can get investigating in there. So we're up in the air, the wheels off. As you can see where it's been moved, you can see it's biting off. Look how crusty this is. But all that being said, first bolt's out, second bolt has been broken and it's coming out. So I know it's as crusty as some of the other cars that we've worked on, but I don't know, that is some German engineering, isn't it? In theory. Should be able to get the brake caliper off in a second. Maybe with a bit of force, bit of leverage. Yeah, that's crusty. A few hits with a hammer and got it out. But that one's firmly in. So you're going to try to get that off. Maybe even get the whole bracket removed, because let's face it, we're going to need new. I don't think any of this is worth trying to save. It just seems a bit redundant, really. Just to prove some rust from you, there you go. There is the pad away from the pad, fully separated. So full rotors off on the front. And the same on the other side, and as you can see, I've been tidying a bit of it up with a wire brush. I think I'm going to WD-40 spray some of it and avoid the plastics, maybe cover them. But those bushes actually look alright. Yes, I admittedly agree, I think they should be replaced at some point, but for the moment they may actually suffice. The sort of the brake dust protector fully corroded has come off, so I do need a new one of those, which I do believe does mean that the hub here will have to come off. But just to show you on the other side, this is the brake rotor that came off all in one piece. That is fully solid, so we will definitely be getting new calipers and new discs, because that's all required. So now that that is done, we've got a torch, lovely, and we have got a rust picker, and we've got my pen. So I'm going to go around and inspect and then pick and see what needs doing, so I know that these are a bad point. And let's face it, you don't need to go far to see that that is not good at all. There is a lot of underseal on this, but and you've got problems like these as well. I do want a lot of the underseal off, so we may actually crack out one of the grinders. Of course, obvious parts is this, but fortunately we have a very nice line, so I think a lot of the rest of the arch is salvageable. This isn't going to be a beauty project, right? So I'm not expecting it to be amazing, but I do want it to be usable and I do want it to get through an MOT. So here we go, back again. The workshop is in desperate need of a tidy up, but I've got my trusted drill and I've actually found the pick that I wanted, which is this one, because this one is a bit more stabby. I'm gonna have to change hands in a second, and then we can start to see. Yes, I don't actually want to remove too much, because at the same time I do want to keep some of this so then I can actually see what sort of lines I need to follow, because I do have some replacement parts for this, which sort of links onto the bolt here, but I will have to make and fab. Now that's part of the outer wing, so not too worried about that. But yes, a lot of this sealant has clearly trapped some moisture, caused some issues, so I'll give that a quick wire wheel. Have a look at this. I do have to say, one thing that is quite good is just after wire wheeling, that is metal there, and as you can see it's pretty good. This is pretty bad. I do have a replacement part for this. Like I said, we need to fabricate some more around it. Now, the doors, the bottom of these doors is not fab, and I do have replacement ones for those. But for MOT, it may be alright. So let's get underneath and let's have a look at some of this. So if I get my lovely little pick, as you can see here, the jacking point is definitely gone. So is the cap circle here. This is quite a common one on them. And as you can see on the chassis rail does need some improvement, but it's actually pretty solid. So this is again another bit that I want to get a lot of this underseal off. So some of it's seam sealer, some of it's underseal in a way, like this, because it's just going to trap moisture. Well, some bits that I do know definitely need doing. It's like up here, you can see this side, it has actually been patched on the other side already. Look at that, where that mount is. That's the engine bay there, so that's pretty cool. All the way through there. This rubbery seam sealer just seems to be holding it together. Like this. actually get some off, we can start to see what's happening. Because I know that this is going to need to be done, so I'm not overly worried. Yeah, this seam sealer stuff is just everywhere. Well, not seam sealer, I apologise. I think some of this is underseal. But you can see what I mean in the camera here. It's just like flexy rubbery. Yeah, that's straight into the engine bay. Not great at all. Other bits. Just more and more of it. And how far do we want to go and what do we want to do? Oh, I'm going to pick. Actually, I'm not really needing a pick. I'm more needing just to peel. As you can see there. No, there you go. I'll go through. Cool. That's going to need doing as well. Fuck. I'm sorry, I mean, oh my goodness, YouTube, sorry for advertising. We're actually back down here. So yes, fortunately, I think a lot of the chassis rail is actually okay. I haven't tried lifting it on it or putting any weight on it, which of course will actually give me a bit more of a test. But there's just so much of this that needs to come off. So I may get a scraper to do that at some point. Just in the air. Feel some holes, but they meant to be there. That hole feels like it is. So I'm now going to get my pen, do some highlighting in pink, the bits that need doing, and then work our way down the sill here and towards the back. I think pretty much whatever needs doing on this side is probably going to need doing on the other side. So one side at the moment is going to be good enough. Particularly with the access that I've got here, the car is sort of against a wall, which is not great. So doing this side first and then hopefully switch the car around and do the other side. So moving down, we can see some areas, quite a lot of surface rust. Now, a lot of this will actually need to be investigated properly when I strip it back and sort of see what is going on. A lot of the sills down here as well, equally. You can see rust, but that's pretty solid. That is a point of concern. Depends what it's like when you actually get it back. Because ideally, if I don't have to do things, I won't. And I will explain why in the next video as to what the sort of plan is with this car. So these parts are maybe slightly more evident as to what's not good. I don't think this rear door opens at the moment, which is also good. Rear corner door, not worried about. Still there. So there's a seam here. You can see where they join. You can see another rear jacking point. I think these are called jacking points, but then a lot of people argue you shouldn't actually jack from them. Yeah, so a lot of people call them jacking points. I don't think you should actually jack from them. You can have a quick look underneath now. Let's see. Move the light. Quick look and see what's under there. Yeah, this must be my fuel tank. I haven't really been able to look under here a lot. I believe that's probably my fuel filter or fuel pump, which is... Yeah, so a lot of people say these are jacking points, but also say not to jack from them. You can see here, that's definitely warped. It's been highlighted at some point by somebody else. So this must be my fuel tank. Yes, that's nice and crusty. Wishbones as well. See, this a lot of it, some of it's just surface bubbling, you know, if you actually chip it away. Don't get me wrong, it's not great, but it's not bad. This must be my fuel pump. Let's see what this sticker says. No idea, just a bit of sellotape maybe. Because that doesn't look great, does it? Another shield, and then you can see the corroded lines that are heading up. Definitely need to replace over here on the floor. Not fabulous. at all. My exhaust, however, the rear end doesn't look great. The rest of it is not awful. As you can see, the hanger's broken there, which explains why it's been dangling and why it looks a bit weird at the rear. Diff in there. Let's get a proper look at it. So we're looking at rust, aren't we? These are one of my favourite bits, the nice black BBSs. I do have some cool idea for tyres. Again, that will be next video. And see, in here, I do like these mud flaps, and I do want to retain the mud flaps, but equally, I do have maybe a plan for this. So if you have a look in there, all of that doesn't look great, does it? There's the back box of the exhaust, that's definitely not going to pass an MOT. Rest of the arch. Again on the rear. These bits aren't good. Let's have a look at this here, because how far gone are we? And are we through? Because if we're not, well, you can see that is a hole, but if that can be ground back and repaired, that's preferable. Let's go to the rear. We have to bear with the lighting around the back here. But this is where the exhaust comes out and a structural toe point. Yes, not ideal, and keeps going here. So, do you have some ideas? Some cool cars that I've seen. But this is the bit, right? So I have this whole nother plate that I could chop this off here and weld this on. Now, it mainly depends on how bad these parts are around here. Because when I get to my next video and explain to you potentially the plan for what's going to be happening with this car, I have seen quite a few, well not quite, I've seen some, where this plate here has been chopped off and been replaced with a bar, which does look really cool because it mounts on down here where it's structural. You can retain that because that is on its own. And yeah, and like a drift bar. But what it really depends on is you've got the wheel carrier in there. And if I believe correctly, when you chop this off here, if we look underneath, you'll then be able to see things like the wheel carrier in there. So that brings the arguments of, also the exhaust is over here, so I've just lied, and that is just rusted, same as this is also rusted. So yes, that is looking very tempting, chopping this off and just doing a tubular rear bumper, and retaining these mud flaps, and actually hanging the exhaust, because that's meant to be up there, not down there. So as we continue with the stabby, as you can see around here, there's definitely a lot of bits that need repairing. However, it's not Swiss cheese yet. Why do I say it? Why do you literally say it and then... I do it to myself almost, don't I? If you say it, it's gonna happen. Yeah, it's gone through. So, it's right in the corner as well. That's an annoying repair. Yeah, so this is definitely going to be a section that needs some attention. Whether we get the grinder and actually see how bad the rust is. Usually, as always, there's never less rust, is there? Some corner bits and things like this, if we get it to focus up, which stuff like this, I don't know why I'm whispering, I'm not overly worried about. That's going to be things that maybe is painted. So the analysis is fairly simple. I know it's got rust and it's not great. There's a few areas here, like the rear arches, you can get replacement panels for, which would be lovely. And bits like the front, where I've already got some panels for it. So already got the bit of this wing and already got the bit. I do have a whole new front valance, which we are going to have a quick poke around the front. One of the bits I really do want to do is get the carpet removed on the passenger side. Have a look under there. Here we go then. No pain, no gain. I'm going to have a look around this and see what we actually think. Just going to put the camera in my other hand. Because is it salvageable? Well, actually, look, that's nice. Is it salvageable? I'm just missing the clips there. Which I do believe means I may be able to pop this out. I do have a spare one, so which is quite fortunate, possibly quite telling. But the main question is really, as usual, how far gone is it, and what do we want or need? It doesn't look brilliant, does it? A lot of it is just age. Again, this is one of my cars, and this is not a client car, and as such is treated as a very budget build. And look at that, a tether. You hear that tether? It's clearly departed. As such, is very much treated as one of my builds. This stuff is horrible. I actually just hoover this off. So all it's doing is getting mouldy. Yeah. It's one of my builds, so I'm going to treat it as such and do it as such. Could be up for sale in the future. I'm not going to look at rusty engines. There is another video on the engine. We will need to be doing some more work on that very soon. Yes, it's my build, going to be treated as my build, and I will go over the finances with you in a video soon to show you how cheap this was and show you the total costs of working on it. I do really like these intakes for the brakes, really, really cool. I love the colour. Oh, this is what I was hoping for on the front here. It is crusty. How crusty? I'm actually going to be gentle because I do care about the front. Look at these, very cool. My professional verdict is I don't really mind, so as long as I can get a lip on that, I don't see it, I actually don't care. It's very cool double headlights. Yes, I don't really. Oh, look, here we go. Here's the patch that I was telling you about already. So one side's done. No, I'm joking, of course. It's pretty mullered. As you can see, the same problem on this side. On this one here. The same problem down here as well. Fortunately, better on this side. But back up here, very cool plates. Don't still move in. These are the sorts of bits that I want to be getting into. I want to be having a look at. Seeing, is it just all the paint is flaked off? We do need to sand it all back and paint it. Don't want to do that. It's got a badge on it. Oh, I failed to go through. Yes. Does that count? Or does that gap? That counts, yes. Cool. So we do have some repairs to be doing up here then. And as you can see, some other bits. Yes, some other bits all need doing as well, and needs a big hoover. So engine has been running, which we are happy with. We're not happy with. It's been running. So here you go, a bit of real life classics for you. Working away, trying to get the interior out and just faffing about with bits. Thought I'd make it a time lapse to save you guys the sort of 10-15 minutes that this took me and break it down into just a few seconds. But yeah, this is the reality of cars, is sometimes things just take a bit of time and are a bit of a pain. I haven't worked on an E30 before, but know a bit of interior trim. So just trying to figure it out and get the bits off that need to come off to be able to get underneath. So hopefully we can start welding. Now, who is making something thinks, oh yeah, I know what I'm going to put in there. A plastic screw that looks like this. That when it's 2024, it's going to fail. But fortunately, I have this, a very, very sharp pick, which in theory, if I can get it into it, I can then use to turn it. I managed to get the other one out with pliers, but this one doesn't want to do it. See a high risk of stabbing yourself when doing this, so do take care. If you ever come across a plastic screw, or the person who made it, let them know my thoughts. Oh, so close. Right, I'm going to give this a proper go and put the camera down. Here we go, utter relief. Look at that, the combination of both has got it. Now, I can just turn it and pull it out, hopefully. As you can see as it comes out, it's just a bit of a silly thing, really. Here's, of course, when it's twisting and the plastic has failed. See there, it's just twisting on itself. Getting itself in a twist. Some left-handed screwdrivering, so not the best. So here we go, first bit of carpet. You can see it around here. So there you go, it's happened. Right, so the plug's out. And we'll clear up around it. Of course, that's bad. Actually, compared to some other E30s, I've seen, that's not too bad. I'm pretty happy with that one. Of course, not ideal really, but easily repaired in reality. And yeah, so not awful. We are now onto this bit. Hopefully going to get some of this out. I've given up with doing the time lapse because that was an absolute pain. Trying to get these vents forward as well and get them under this bit. The carpet's not too wet really, which is a bit of a relief considering how long it's been sat, but it's not too dry either. And whilst it's not the beautiful summer months, it's not too dry in here. It's still quite moist as we've only recently got it watertight. So I'm going to found these vents, be able to get it over a bit more. Should give me a bit more space to see. So getting it all left-handed. Oh, lovely job. Starting to get towards the front, which is the main bit I want to look at today. You're just taking this apart, and this will give you an idea. One of the reasons why I brought this car over some of the other project ones that were out there. So the original from 1993, and if we come to the back, it does actually have all mileage and service stamps throughout its life. So yeah, bizarrely, this is one of the reasons, because this car's only 2 owners, but with 250k miles on it, but has actually been looked after. Admittedly, stood for a while, but looked after throughout the majority of its life. Not been tracked, not been ruined. So yeah, really cool to see. We are rolled up here, and this is the part I wanted to get to. As you can see, the cap has already decided to depart, and I don't even need the stabbing tool. But you can see what it's like here. This is a bit of sound deadening around it. As you can see on this, where I've actually got this out, there is a bit damp. And fortunately, we don't have smell-o-vision yet, but it doesn't smell great. I do want to, well, I'm 50-50. I'll explain in the next video the new build plan for this and some of the finances behind it. But I'm 50-50 on, do I keep this or do I get rid of it? I do like how stock this is, but with the state of the body and the repairs that are economical for this car, that may change. Here you go, look, uncut, unedited. It's how warm and sweaty it can get doing it. So what I mean by that is, I do like how stock the car is and what the interior looks like and everything like that at the moment. However, the economics of this car, it's never going to be worth millions. It's never going to be concourse, and I don't want it to be. But then that means I need to make choices that are based around that. And having it as something that's a bit harsher, where you don't have carpets in it, yes, maybe a bit of a downside to it. But equally, having the carpets, getting all of these out, ripping out all the interior, and then drying them, and maybe even need new ones, because some of it is not good. Isn't really a decision for today, but it's just something that I am conscious of. And when I'm working through the car, that decision may be made when I get a bit more frustrated, when things aren't working correctly. That just happens a bit quicker. So yeah, do we just go hard metal, or with all the sound deadening, like a lot of that there does mean it's going to be a bit quieter. Don't really know what I want yet. Maybe the vibe that is going to be hard metal, but I'll show you some of the metal beneath it at the moment. So back to it with my stabby tool. This one, of course, isn't great. Actually, some of the other ones, like there is water, are actually okay. There's some surface rust up in the corner, but you can see down here, we are out to the elements. Get my arm out of the way. So switching hands, yeah, down here, we are out to the elements. That looks important. We're going to hang on to that. Yes, there we go. You can see daylight out there now again. So this is something, the area that is problematic, and it's going to be on both sides. Yeah, I'm going to stop doing that maybe. Just come on. Because I need to get the lines. We'll need to remove some of the sound deadening. So we take it around here just to make sure we're at the correct level. And yeah, get a new one here. So yeah, fun times. But I do have to say, equally, it's not too dreadful. You can see along some of the seams here, there's a bit of surface, but things we want to stop, we want to progress. But admittedly, nothing that is too awful. As always, if you are enjoying the content from Utopia and want to watch more of this build and help and support us, please make sure you drop a like and subscribe down below. Make sure you check out our shop. We've got loads of new uploads, and we're doing drops pretty much every month this year. New things, E30 based, Land Rover based, Defender based, Discovery based. We're doing partners with really cool Instagram accounts. So any of that, make sure you go check that out. That's all in the description and our website in our bio. So give myself a moment to cool down, because it's pretty hard work trying to get that out and get that all going. Trim things aren't really my favourite, and it's a bit of a battle to try and not break them, but we did manage to get the carpet up and have a look at the important bits. Now that's up, I need to get it further out the way, and then we need to start focusing on body work. The next video for this, I think, is going to be about what the build plan is and the direction I do want to take this car, because it's maybe changed slightly from the beginning, and some cool developments that are going to be happening with it. Next month, I'm hopefully going to have a bit of an influx of cash to spend on this build and some of the other ones like the Mustang, so there's going to be further developments on that. It has been a bit of a joy, and it's been interesting to see what is going on, and equally I don't think it's too bad on the rest. There is areas that I need addressing, but I'm quite hopeful for it, and I'm excited to get started on the bodywork and hopefully getting this back on the road for June when I'm going to the Cotswolds, because I want to be driving it for then, otherwise I may be selling it. So yeah, really happy with it, quite happy with it. Well, not happy with the rust. Rust is rust, isn't it? You never find less, do you? It's always more. But happy with where it's going, and next video will be build, and then I'll start to bring in the costs and show you what this one's cost me and what it's going to cost me to build and complete and get it back on the road, which I don't usually do for my builds for my own sake, but for yours as the audience, I think you might be interested. So yeah, look forward to the next one, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers.